constituents within Bury, Ramsbottom and Tottington who believe that we should do everything possible to protect the green belt. The Greater Manchester Spatial Framework is described as GM's plan for homes, jobs and the environment, delivering the homes we need up until 2037. The GMCA website comments, "This plan is about providing the right homes in the right places for people across our city region. It's about creating jobs and improving infrastructure to ensure the future prosperity of Greater Manchester." However, Ms Noakes, in my view, and talking specifically about my hometown of Bury, the GMSF does not deliver this. It is a charter to build unaffordable homes in the wrong place without ensuring the necessary infrastructure will be in place to support such large-scale construction. Furthermore, the plan ensures the destruction of large areas of green belt unnecessarily, the devastation of important wildlife habitat, and a guarantee that there will be congestion on our roads, which will increase along with air pollution. This debate, I believe, Ms Noakes, presents an opportunity for members, specifically from Greater Manchester, to tell the Mayor and the leaders of the 10 metropolitan authorities that the current draft GMSF is unacceptable and more must be done to ensure the green belt is protected within the framework of the plans recently announced by my right honourable friend, the Secretary of State for Housing, Communities and Local Government, to bring Britain's planning system into the 21st century. Next month, the Government will launch a register of brownfield sites which will map out unused land as part of plans to encourage councils to make the most of this land first, backed by £400 million to bring this mostly unused land back to use. Developers will be able to demolish vacant commercial, industrial and residential buildings and replace them with well-designed homes without getting delayed in a lengthy planning process. And crucially, £12 billion of investment is to be ploughed into building more affordable homes. Of course.
I'm very grateful to him. I do congratulate him on securing this debate. It's of great importance to all of our constituents, and I apologise, Ms Noakes, that I have to leave for another meeting at 3:30. On the point about brownfield sites, this is of vital importance at New Carrington in my constituency, a massively contaminated site but with great potential, but will need very, very substantial investment to undertake the necessary remediation. Will he join me in urging the Government to ensure that all the funds that we need to remediate those brownfield sites are made available to Greater Manchester? Otherwise, it is going to be very difficult for us to build the houses that we do need in places where they could be constructed.
I thank the Honourable Lady for that intervention. I'm sure the Minister will comment on that when rounding up. When one considers the drive to regenerate our town centres through, in part, the building of more densely beautiful, affordable homes, it is clear the green belt in towns like Bury is being sacrificed unnecessarily. Residents in Tottington, Walsall and in the vicinity of Elton Reservoir are having their local environment decimated because their local council is a signatory of a planning document not fit for purpose, but also has no plan to take advantage of the funding opportunities provided by this government to reclaim and build truly affordable houses on brownfield sites. Of course.
I thank my honourable friend for giving way. Does he show, appreciate the support given from the government to support development on brownfields, but does he share my concern that this plan, GMSF Mark II, was only really going to be published for public consultation, public challenge after the local elections, so people weren't able to judge the councillors, the local authorities and the mayor upon what they're actually proposing, and therefore, even though we want local democracy, this is hardly a good example of it.
I thank my honourable friend for his intervention. I think he speaks powerfully and I agree with every point that he makes. This highlights one of the great faults within the GMSF. It does not require a local authority to be proactive or innovative in its planning policy. Rather, it allows them to go for the easy option of allowing developers to build 3, 4 and 5 bedroom houses all over the green belt, which will be totally unaffordable to the vast majority of my constituents.
Will the honourable gentleman give way?
Of course.
Thank you. I thank the honourable gentleman for giving way. He makes a very interesting point, actually, about the nature of the housing that's being built. Certainly my local authority in Rochdale has signalled an intention to build more houses than is required and of an unaffordable nature primarily. Does he agree with me that the strategy should take account of housing need?
I thank my honourable friend, and I think, again, I agree with every word that he says, and it's a very powerful point which I'm sure the Minister will address. But these proposals to build on the green belt, it has to be said, are in spite of alterations to the NPPF recently by the government, which have strengthened green belt protections. So why are local authorities such as Bury determined to build over the green belt rather than work innovatively to regenerate brownfield sites and provide truly affordable homes? And by that, Ms Noakes, I mean houses and flats of a value under £100,000. As referred to previously, I believe they are simply taking the easy option. But the defence to this charge from those who support the GMSF is that the government are forcing them to build a certain number of homes in line with national guidance, and to do this, they must therefore encroach on the green belt in Bury and elsewhere. This is a question that has been put to the Housing Minister only last week and to previous Housing Ministers in a Westminster Hall debate. Can I ask my right honourable friend, when he sums up the debate, to confirm that councils are not mandated to definitively build the number of homes required under 2014 population projection figures? Rather, they are the starting point, and local authorities should conduct their own assessment of housing need within their borough to assess the homes that are required to be built over the length of a local plan in the right place where people need them and that they are affordable. Of course, yeah.
I think, thanks for giving way. There is a concern that with GMSF Mark 1 having been torn up, GMSF Mark 2 may well get rejected as well. And I think the Mayor of Greater Manchester should do that. Therefore, we're going to be in a limbo position, and local authorities should be respected, should be valued, and what they determine they need for their local community should be respected, and the planners and developers should follow what the local authority wants.
Again, I'm very thankful for that intervention, and I agree with every word. I think my honourable friend speaks very powerfully on this issue. I would also bring the Minister's attention to the fact that 2016 ONS forecast, population forecast figures revised down Bury's population projections by 43%, and 2018 provisional figures recently released see a further fall of 13%. On the basis of these most recent population projections, no homes would have to be built on the green belt within my constituency. And would my honourable friend comment as to whether the government will review the use of projections published 6 years ago? Of course, yes.
Wayne, congratulate him on securing the debate. This issue of brownfield first is obviously quite rightly what comes up all the time, and to be fair, as an opposition MP, that is the government's policy. Certainly in my constituency and in Tameside, almost every bit of brownfield land has been found to go in, even ones that are borderline in terms of their viability. So can I just confirm, is he saying the government should find more money to make currently unviable sites viable, or is he saying we should build less homes in Bury and Tameside and Greater Manchester? Because those are two different ways to solve this problem, and I just want to understand his approach a bit further.
There are about 3 questions within the point that's being made. I've already commented in respect to the funding that the government are making available to assist local authorities in remediating brownfield sites, and I think that will be very important. This question comes down to housing need. It's the easiest thing in the world to simply say we need to build more houses. We need a robust formula that allows each local authority to build the houses they need, so the numbers over the length of the local plan, in the right place. I am making the point that by using the most up-to-date population projections, that reduces the need to build on the green belt, and in my borough, I'm sorry I can't comment in respect of his borough, that would allow properties to be built on brownfield sites. The question, though, comes in terms of this brownfield first policy. Brownfield first is, again, a statement, But there is nothing within the GMSF that forced us councils to build on the brownfield first. So what undoubtedly would happen if the GMSF was in place, we would have the greenbelt concreted over and no developer would be interested in building truly affordable homes on brownfield sites. So we get back to the point, we have to build homes for people who need them at a price that is affordable in the right place. In the GMSF in respect of Bury, there was virtually no comment regarding building affordable flats in the town centres within my borough. And that's why I believe that the document, or one of the many reasons why the document is not fit for purpose. Of course, yes.
I wonder if he would also join me in asking the Minister, slightly tangentially to the GMSF, but nonetheless pertinent, to look again at permission in principle, which is also being used in my constituency by developers as a means to try and build on green belt, where the planning obligations that the developer is required to meet are much less rigorous, and both the public and the planning committee have really no say in enabling them to stop such applications. So I wonder if he'd join me in asking the Minister to look again at that particular regime and what it might mean for building on the green belt.
The member very much for that intervention. I think it is a very strong point, and I'm sure the Minister will address that in his closing remarks. Ms Noakes, as you can probably tell, I could talk on this subject at great length, but there are a number of other members who wish to speak. And I have been contacted by numerous constituents, so in bringing my contribution to an end, I would like to ask the Minister to comment on the following points that have been raised by constituents. Firstly, does the Minister agree that housing occupancy rates should be used to calculate how many houses we require in Bury and elsewhere? The average occupancy rate, I believe, is 2.35 persons per home in Bury against 2.4 being the national average. As an example, this would mean 5,733 new homes needed within the Metropolitan Borough of Bury, not the 9,500 currently indicated in the GMSF, that taking into account the 2,000 current offset, and this would be the case even using 2014 figures. Secondly, and this gets onto a point that's been raised, will brownfield first policy be made a legal requirement, which it has to be if it is to have any teeth? And how can local authorities access national funding to assist in clearing toxic sites and making them financially viable for development, which they have to be? And these sites are the ones where we can develop truly affordable homes that anyone, we must be aiming to build homes that are innovative, that are green, but that are truly affordable for £40,000, £50,000, £60,000. We must have a real vision in terms of making sure that we have the houses that our populations need. Thirdly, what measures are the government taking to ensure developers contribute to local public transport and infrastructure requirements? 4, what measures are the government taking to ensure there are no further impact from flooding as a direct consequence of construction of roads and housing? In my seat, this is proposed to build on fields within Walshaw. Those are areas that flood and have flooded in recent times. If we build there, that is only going to get worse. And finally, the government are committed to protecting, restoring and expanding natural habitats. How can sites in GM access the Nature for Climate Fund to ensure the preservation of local mosslands and woodlands? I think the one thing that all of our areas have are vociferous, committed and passionate community groups who have been at the forefront of the fight to protect the green belt. And I finish off by paying tribute to Bury folk who have got a membership into the thousands, who are passionate and determined to protect their environment, to protect their community, and to do what they feel is best to ensure we all have a positive future. Thank you. Yeah.